What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. So the draft, it is fully 2 weeks out at this point. Next Friday, I'll be in the building at the Sphere in Las Vegas for the 2024 NHL draft. It is nearly upon us, and I've been reacting to these mock drafts, just overall doing a shit ton of draft coverage. So I thought today we'd do another mock draft. We'd go through another mock draft, and today we have the legit NHL.com, some plugged in guys going through it. It's actually two different writers giving their different picks, but it's like in the same article, so we got kind of two mock drafts to react to in one. And when looking at this draft, it's looking like Celebrini first overall, Leshinov second overall, and then after that, we don't fucking know. There's like 8 or 9 guys that could potentially go third overall, and it wouldn't be shocking by any stretch. So we're going to go through that right now. I'm going to give you my personal opinion. I dropped my own mock, what was it, like 5 or 6 days ago. Feel free to go watch that. Obviously, I'm going to say mine is the best out of this, but we're going to go through NHLs. We've done Bleacher Report. I think we've done ESPN. We've done The Athletic. We have not looked at NHL.com yet. So let's go through it right now. Mock 2024 NHL draft. Opinions vary after Celebrini, Leshinov taken with the first 2 picks. And yeah, college hockey representing first and second overall most likely. So this comes to us from Adam Kimmelman and Mike Morial. Don't really know too much about them, but they're NHL.com writers, so they got to be legit in some sense. Up first, Mac and Celebrini to the San Jose Sharks. Real shocker with that. It was basically set in stone midway through this season once Cole Eiserman didn't really perform. Chicago Blackhawks, second overall. Artem Leshinov, again, do I agree with this pick? Not 100%, but I've come around to it. Chicago definitely does need a more so complete number one defenseman. Maybe I really like Kevin Korchinski. I think he's going to be a fantastic offensive defenseman, but more so on the defensive side. Leshinov maybe has a little bit of a higher ceiling, especially defensively, and also just being that complete number one. It is what it is. I think they will regret selecting Ivan Demidov, but I understand next year they're not sure that they're even going to be picking in the top 3, so lock up to get a Logan Hensler in the top 3 next year, so lock it up now, get Artem Leshinov, and then take Porter Martone or an Anton Frundell in next year's draft. Third overall, let's see where it goes from here. We'll do third and fourth at the same time. Anton Silyev. Oh my God. This would be kind of a shock for me if I was the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, he definitely has a high... My thing with Silyev is he's a fantastic defensive defenseman, can skate pretty well. He just doesn't have the offensive upside that I look for within a top 5 pick. I think he should definitely go top 15, top 12, but I think the offensive limitations are just so massive. Maybe Anaheim's thinking that he can be a second pair guy behind Pavel Mintyukov. I believe Mintyukov's also a left-handed defenseman. So maybe they're just thinking like, oh, his floor is so high given his size, given his skating ability, that we're just going to lock him up, get a high floor guy. But also Ivan Demidov from Montreal, that makes more sense to me in terms of getting a skilled guy to play with their fantastic centers of a Leo Carlson, of a Mason McTavish. That would be disgusting in terms of their top 6 because they have a lot of bigger forwards right now. Get that more so small skilled guy to play alongside Gauthier and Carlson would be fantastic. That's what I'd do. Columbus going Caden Lindstrom and Silyev. So they both have Silyev in the top 4. He's a very controversial guy. Again, I don't love him as a prospect, but I understand betting on the upside of a 6'7" guy that moves the way that he does. It does make some sense. Columbus taking Lindstrom, I like that a lot. I think if Lindstrom is there, that would be a pretty solid pick for them. I haven't really fully broken down Lindstrom, but I assume he's going to be in my top 8 of these prospects. And when looking at a potential him and Fantilli line, I think you would kick Lindstrom over to left wing. And with an Adam Fantilli, that both blend of skill and physicality would be fantastic for the Columbus Blue Jackets. 5th overall, Demidov to the Montreal Canadiens. I know Montreal Canadiens in this Kimmelman's mock draft, they are probably frothing out the goddamn mouth. And Lindstrom and Montreal. So I think that's what Montreal fans want. They want either one of Lindstrom and one of Demidov, and it makes sense because in terms of overall upside, outside of Celebrini, I think they probably have the highest upside in this entire draft. These two guys, although I like Leshinov, these two guys could be legit 85, 90-point guys, absolute studs. If you're a Montreal Canadiens fan, you're probably framing this goddamn mock draft. So at 6th overall, I think basically everybody, yes. So at this point, in both of their mock drafts, the top 5 has been Celebrini, Leshinov, Demidov, Silyev, and Lindstrom. So we got a fresh start at 6. I don't know where they're going to go in terms of this. This is Utah. I think it'll probably be a defenseman, I'd assume. Sam Dickinson, Zeev Boyum. Makes sense when looking at these guys. Sam Dickinson, I think, probably makes more sense for Utah. I think Sam Dickinson is going to be a very good top 4 guy. He's more of a high floor guy versus Zeev Boyum. You're betting on the offensive traits. I'm not sure. There's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of question marks defensively with him. I think they'd be more inclined based on their draft history to go with more of a Zeev Boyum. Senators, though, they select Boyum. So it's just a flip-flop on both of their mock drafts. Interesting. Ottawa definitely needs more so of a right-handed defenseman, but apparently they are going to go best player available, which I think is the right call. So they'd both be adding fantastic defenseman prospects. So at 8th overall, I assume it's going to be like a Zane Parik, but let's see. Zane Parik. Okay. I did not see this before. I just assumed that considering the one defenseman that is remaining at this point is a Zane Parik. Carter Yakimchuk's still on the board, but I don't think Yakimchuk would go 8th, maybe 7th to the Senators. But when looking at Zane Parik, insane numbers this year with the Saginaw Spirit, 96 points in 66 games. I really like him a lot. I think this would be a fantastic selection by the Kraken, who just have they don't really have any elite young defenseman prospects. This would be a slam dunk. Moving on to the Calgary Flames. Again, at this point, it's been the guys that win in the top 5, as well as Dickinson, Boyum, and Parik. We got a new guy at number 9. Who is it going to be? Berkeley, Cadden, and T.J. Ginla. So Kimmelman says they're not going to draft based on the fact that Jerome Ginla is the greatest Flames player of all time, arguably. They're going to go with Berkeley, Cadden. I think if T.J. Ginla falls to them at 9th overall, especially with the way that T.J. Ginla is trending recently, he has been viewed as a legit top 10 guy. I think Calgary probably will pull the trigger on that. Although I haven't really done my full breakdown on T.J. Ginla, but I think right now I do have Berkeley, Cadden higher. I think if T.J. Ginla is available at 9th overall, I don't even know if he is at this point, but if he is available, I'd be shocked. If I would love to see the Ginla family reaction if they went with Berkeley Cadden in this situation. That would be very, very awkward. But yeah, we're moving on to 10th. Berkeley Cadden here for Morale, Konstantinius to Kimmelman. I like Konstantinius as a fit with the New Jersey Devils. I know they have 2 fantastic centermen, but I think for a team that is trying to compete for the next 3 to 4 years, you look at Helenius, he might need 1 more year in Liga, but then he can come in and right away be your third line center for 3 years on a fantastic ELC. I really like the fit for Helenius, and if he does eventually pan out, you can move some guys around, or you can just end up trading him for either a goalie or a defenseman or just some depth down the line. I think Helenius to the Devils is good. Berkeley Cadden would be interesting because he does kind of play a transitional game similarly to a Jack Hughes, really just fantastic in transition, but not the most physical guy. I don't really like the fit that much for Berkeley Cadden. In Montreal's, I'd probably go with someone, I think T.J. Ginla's already off the board, but I would probably maybe go with like a Carter Yakimchuk at this point. Just get another defenseman. 11th, Carter Yakimchuk. Speak of the devil. Yakimchuk to the Sabres. It makes some sense. I think they need some right-handed defensemen considering Power, Dahlin, and a Byram are all 3 of them, I believe, are left-handed. So you get a right-handed defenseman. Konstantinius to the Sabres makes some sense. Sabres have a bunch of skill guys, kind of smaller guys like a Benson and a Savoy. They maybe need more of a reliable future third, second line center, 2-way guy like Helenius, high floor guy instead of maybe a skill, high ceiling guy. I like that pick for the Buffalo Sabres. Flyers, T.J. Ginla goes here from Kimmelman and Yakimchuk for Montreal. The Flyers really don't have a preference. Yes, you would maybe want one of like a Berkeley Cadden or like a high-skilled center to fall here to eventually play with Matvei Michkov. That's not really the case. At 12th overall, they're like the definition of strictly best available. They have Michkov. They have some other solid pieces like Bonk or Denver Barkey, but they don't really have any other elite prospects with Matvei Michkov. You just take the best player available and hope that they eventually pan out. 13th, we got the Minnesota Wild. Solberg going all the way at 13th. He's obviously kind of the biggest riser right now, considering, as they say in the thing, how good he was for Norway at the IIHF World Championships. I'm not sure if I have him that high, but I understand when you see him play against legit NHL talent and show out the way that he did show out, that is going to rise you. And I mean, it's kind of tough to scout him when he's in Norway, considering that league's not that impressive. But yeah, that would be interesting. I think the Wild should be looking at defensemen, and Montreal agrees as well. He has Adam Jiricek going here. Wild should be looking at defensemen. I think they're kind of set in terms of young forwards, and especially with guys like Spurgeon and Brodin starting to get up there in age. I mean, Spurgeon's like 33, 34. Brodin's only 30, but they should definitely be looking at a defenseman in this year's draft to give either Faber a partner down the line or just another very good right-handed defenseman down the line to play behind him. San Jose Sharks, Bennett Seneca. Yeah, this would be fantastic for the San Jose Sharks, really either of these picks. You look at Cole Eiserman. I have my question marks about Cole Eisman, whether he'll ever be able to drive a line. But if this guy has fucking Will Smith and Macklin Celebrini as his centers in a top six, I think Cole Eisman will be able to reach his potential, which is 35, maybe even 40 goals in a season. And then Bennett Seneca is, as they say, 6'3" already, grew like 5 inches this season, has a lot of traits that you do like, fantastic hands, very good skater, and he is definitely a high potential guy. San Jose should really swing for the fences. I've seen a lot of people say that they should select a defenseman here. The thing is, especially in this case where Solberg and Juracek go 13th, Yakimchuk's already off the boards, I wouldn't force a defenseman here, especially if Cole Eisman or Beckett Seneca are here. Next up, who would be next up? Red Wings? Michael, yeah, I've mocked like every single mock draft I've done. Michael Brandt-Segnegaard to the Detroit Red Wings just seems like a Red Wings pick, considering how many guys from the SHL or the Swedish Second Tier League or Swedish Juniors they select. And Michael Hage would also be a very interesting pick. I think they maybe do need more of a playmaker, up and coming center, and I think Hage definitely has the upside to be there. Pretty solid from Detroit. Then here, Beckett Seneca still available in Montreal's. That'd be if Seneca falls to them at 16th, that'd be very good. Or Nygaard's also a very solid pick. Washington Capitals. Oh, he had Cole Eisman fall all the way here to the Washington Capitals. That'd be interesting. They go, Ovi's phasing out, so they try to replace him by getting an amazing goal scorer. I don't know if I love the fit of Cole Eisman with the Washington Capitals, although I think he did play a little bit with Ryan Leonard with the U.S. Developmental program. They still don't have that legit future number one center that I think Eisman's going to need down the line in order to reach his potential, so I have a little bit of my concerns about that, but that would be a pretty solid pick. At 17th overall, if Eisman's still there, I think you do take him, and then Hage also would be solid in terms of adding to their prospect pool. Him and Ryan Leonard could be interesting down the line. So, Chicago Blackhawks, Sasha Boisvert, Chernyshov. I have Chernyshov in my latest mock draft going to the Chicago Blackhawks. I think it makes sense. They've drafted some smaller end forwards. Chernyshov is a bigger guy. Even Boisvert is like 6'1". So I think that makes sense for Chicago. Vegas, Connolly. Connolly would be pretty solid. Connolly is one of the most skilled players in the entire NHL. He definitely has a checkered past, some off-the-ice stuff that you're concerned about, but knowing Vegas, they'd be willing to take the risk, and he'd probably turn into a fucking stud. Solberg also would be pretty solid. Yes, Golden Knights definitely need some young defensemen to replace some of their old heads. That'd be interesting. My New York Islanders, Jet Luchenko. Jet Luchenko seems like a New York Islanders player. Very smart, very tenacious, very good two-way player. I could definitely see the Islanders, if they keep this pick, end up taking him. Hemming, I don't know too much about, but I just see a natural sniper, and I'm kind of interested just considering the Islanders need goal scoring so much. So I rock with it. Tarek Parasak or Jet Luchenko going to the Los Angeles Kings. I think they definitely go forward here. If you're looking at them in terms of, they already have Brent Clark, Mikey Anderson, Jordan Spencer, all pretty young. They need some offensive creation. I know it's not going to happen next year with these guys, but they need some offense considering the fact Edmonton has just been dogging them in the playoffs. Just overall, they're not as dangerous as an offensive team as you'd like. So I think they're going to go forward. Predators, Liam Greentree. He hasn't gone in, I believe, either of these mocks. This would be fantastic value for the Nashville Predators if either of these guys fall, honestly, to them here, considering Juracek has been mocked between like 14th to 18th overall, and Greentree most of the time top 20. Greentree was a monster this year in the OHL with 90 points on a pretty horrible team. I like Greentree as a prospect. Toronto Maple Leafs, I think that they would go defenseman, considering they do have guys like Fraser Midden and Easton Cowan. Why did I remember Fraser Midden before Easton Cowan? But I think they're going to go defense probably. Colorado, Chernyshov. Oh my God, if Colorado somehow gets Trevor Connolly, that would be a steal. He would definitely develop in that system, or even Chernyshov I really like. Surin's a sleeper guy that I'm starting to like a lot. That'd be very solid by the Senators, or Tarek Parasak. That'd be a slam dunk. Liam Greentree is still available. Jesus, that would be, again, even him going 23rd to the Canadians, and the other guys would be to the Montreal. If he went 23rd to the Predators, like in the other guys, or 26th to the Montreal Canadiens, especially considering the Canadians do like their bigger guys, that'd be great. Salim Wallenius, I like him a decent amount. That'd be a good pick by Carolina. Kiviharu or Salim Wallenius. Yeah, I think if the Flames do go forward with that 9th overall, like they did in this mock, one of them had them taking Cadden, one of them had taking Iginla, then I think with that 28th overall, you can probably assume that a defenseman will be taken. Stars, don't really know too much about either of those guys. Rangers, Teddy Stiga going to the Anaheim Ducks. That'd be solid. And then EJ Emery or Basha going to the Philadelphia Flyers. But yeah, let me know in the comments. What do you think about this mock draft? Again, what were some of the surprises of it? They had my boy Green Tree going super late. Who were some other followers? Beckett Seneca all the way to 16th overall. It was definitely interesting. Not too far off the boards outside of Salayev going pretty goddamn high. Silyev. I keep on switching his name up literally mid-video. But yeah, very interesting mock draft. Let me know in the comments. What do you think? Zane Perix to Seattle Kraken for all we know. And I'll be seeing you in the next one. More draft content to follow. Peace.